During a robbery, the male secretary ran away, while Fu Shui pointed at my wounded body and accused me of abandoning him to die. After pursuing Fu Shui for 10 years, she finally agreed to marry me. But the company's male secretary had always been jealous of our relationship. Once, while delivering documents, we were ambushed by robbers. The male secretary fled immediately, while I was beaten badly trying to protect the company's important documents. After returning, Fu Shui accused me of abandoning her male secretary, claiming I used self-injury as a ploy to gain sympathy. At that moment, I realized she wasn't the person I wanted to protect for the rest of my life. Covering my bleeding wounds, I chose to leave the Fu family. Later, she knelt before me begging to get back together. But by then, I had already found someone worthy of spending my life with. It was already evening when I returned to the Fu residence. My clothes were torn to shreds by the thugs, my body was covered in blue and purple bruises, and I looked completely miserable and pitiful. The Fu family was hosting guests for a banquet, and the main hall was extraordinarily lively. Even before entering, I could hear the flattering remarks from the many guests. Miss Fu established the Fu group at such a young age, truly an outstanding accomplishment. I've also heard that Miss Fu Shui is preparing to get married. This is truly wonderful news. I imagine her chosen husband must also be an exceptional person. Could you invite him out so we can meet him as well? Fu Shui's hearty laughter rang out, followed by the crisp sound of clinking glasses. Thank you all for your blessings. My fiancé stepped out on an errand, but I'll definitely introduce you when he returns. Hearing this, I smiled happily and walked into the hall with light steps. Xiao Shui, I'm back. Fu Shui looked up at me, her brows suddenly furrowing. Miss Fu, could this person be? Guests from all directions stood up, their gazes all focused on me. No, he's not my fiancé. He's just a kitchen helper. Fu Shui glared at me. Why are you still standing here? You have no manners at all. Hurry up and go help in the kitchen. I stood there frozen, my eyes revealing sadness, like an abandoned puppy dog, looking pitifully at Fu Shui. Can't you understand human language? Seeing me standing motionless, Fu Shui urged me again, while deliberately blinking at me twice. My gloomy heart instantly lit up with hope. She blinked at me, so these weren't her true feelings. She must have her difficulties and was just putting on an act for the others to see. As her fiancé, I should be understanding and learn to comprehend her intentions. Oh yes, Mississippi. I'll go to the kitchen right away. I'm very sorry. I'm new here and accidentally walked into the wrong place. I forcefully played the role of a kitchen servant, walking quickly toward the kitchen under everyone's gas. Oh my goodness, Mr. Lin, what happened to you? Why are you covered in injuries? Housekeeper Zhang exclaimed in shock when she saw my condition while cooking in the kitchen. It's nothing. I'm here to help. Xiao Shui loves my cooking the most. Since we have guests today, I want to show off my skills in front of them. I rolled up my sleeves and started working. My goodness, Mr. Lin, you're truly remarkable. Young men like you who can cook are becoming increasingly rare. Miss Fu is truly blessed to have you as her husband. Hearing Auntie Li's praise, my heart felt as sweet as if I had drunk honey water, and the pain from my injuries seemed to lessen. This is probably not a blessing, but rather misfortune. A familiar voice sounded, and I looked toward the doorway in surprise. The person speaking was none other than Fu Shui's male secretary, Li Jun. As soon as Li Jun entered, he had an unpleasant expression, glaring at Aunt Li with fierce eyes, seemingly very dissatisfied with what she had just said. I'll leave you two to chat while I take this food to Miss. Aunt Li tactfully picked up the dishes and left. Only Li Jun and I remained in the kitchen. Secretary Li, you have the nerve to come back. You abandoned me and left me to face those thugs alone. I was nearly beaten to death because of you. This is a serious dereliction of duty. Faced with my angry questioning, Secretary Li seemed unconcerned, merely putting his hands in his pockets and circling around me. Humph, you sure have some luck to be able to walk back alive after facing those thugs. Thinking about those thugs made me fearful again. I don't know why they became so excited when they saw me, aiming to kill me with every move. Luckily, I protected my vital areas at that time, and the police car arrived in time as well. The thugs were scared away when they heard the police sirens from a distance. Otherwise, I definitely wouldn't have made it back alive. Secretary Li, this isn't your first dereliction of duty. Since you joined, employees have reported your violations every month. Your incompetence has greatly affected the company. I will report this honestly to Manager Fu, and I hope you can correct your work attitude in the future. As a senior executive of the company, I felt obligated to remind him of his negligence. Haha, Manager Lin, you're really overreaching, trying to boss me around. Others in the company might not know, but I know all about you. You pursued President Fu for 10 years and co-founded Fu Group with him. 6 months ago, President Fu finally agreed to marry you, yet your position in the company remains just a mid-level manager. But don't ever think that President Fu will marry you and get carried away. She was just having fun with you because she was in a good mood. Otherwise, why wouldn't she make your marriage public? Li Jun stared at me with hostile eyes, as if I had stolen something from him. Also, you just said you would report me to President Fu. Haha, go ahead and report me. I'm waiting for you to get me fired. After saying this, Li Jun snorted at me and then walked away. I pondered his words alone in the kitchen. Could it be true as Li Jun said? Was Fu Shui just playing with me? Was her promise to marry me false? It couldn't be like that. Fu Shui isn't that kind of person. Since she promised me, she will definitely keep her word. It's just that the company has been too busy lately, and she hasn't had time to announce our marriage. Thinking about this, endless hope rekindled in my heart. I relit the fire in the kitchen and made several more dishes for Fu Shui. After the banquet ended, I helped Auntie Zhang wash the dishes in the kitchen, waiting until Fu Shui had seen off the last guest before leaving the kitchen to find her. Xiao Shui, have all the guests left? Did you enjoy the food I made for you today? I looked at Fu Shui with a face full of smiles. Fu Shui looked beautiful today, wearing a purple strapless evening gown that made her appear noble and elegant. Come with me. Fu Shui glanced at me, then walked toward her bedroom. I felt secretly delighted, certain that Fu Shui was pleased with my performance tonight and planned to reward me in her room. Following her footsteps, I entered her room. Close the door, Fu Shui said. I was very excited inside as I carefully closed the door, then approached Fu Shui with a face full of anticipation. What's wrong with you? Fu Shui suddenly scolded me harshly. I fell to the ground in fright, looking at her with a panicked face. Xiao Shui, what's the matter? Do you know who those people at the banquet just now were? I didn't dare to speak, nor did I dare to look at her. I just silently lowered my head. Those are all prominent figures in the southern province, and several of them are future major clients of our company. Your beggar-like appearance nearly scared all my guests away. Can't you be more mindful? After Fu Shui's explanation, I finally realized the seriousness of the situation and felt very guilty. I'm sorry, I'll be more careful next time. Next time? You still want there to be a next time? I really don't know why I fell for someone like you. As Fu Shui continued to berate me, my head drooped even lower, and I couldn't help but recall what Li Jun had said earlier. Could it be, as Li Jun suggested, that Fu Shui never actually intended to marry me, and she was just playing with me? What happened to these injuries? How did you get yourself in this state? Suddenly Fu Shui asked, looking at the wounds on my body. With this sudden show of concern, my heart instantly warmed up again. Fu Shui was caring about me. It's nothing, just ran into a small problem at work, but don't worry, I've already taken care of it. To avoid worrying Fu Shui, I deliberately concealed my encounter with the thugs. I was AF. Raid telling her would frighten her. That's good. See a doctor to check your body, and get some rest soon. Fu Shui's caring words warmed my heart like sunshine, making it glow once again. Indeed, she still loves me. Oh, by the way, there's one more thing I need to tell you. I suddenly remembered something and quickly called out to Fu Shui. Secretary Li has been very negative in his work attitude lately, and many employees in the company have expressed dissatisfaction with him. His incompetent behavior has seriously harmed the company's interests. Today, when he and I were escorting important company documents, he actually abandoned me and ran away, causing me to almost. Fu Shui raised her eyebrows, with a slight smile at the corner of her mouth, interrupting my words. You really know how to accuse others before they accuse you. I was stunned again. Accuse others first? Xiao Shui, who are you referring to as others? Suddenly, a man's voice came from the bathroom in Fu Shui's room. That others of course refers to you. I was startled by the sudden sound. Quickly turning to look behind, Li Jun came out wearing a purple silk bath towel, which was exclusively for Fu Shui's use. Why are you in Fu Shui's room? Faced with my loud questioning, Li Jun ignored me, and instead very naturally came to Fu Shui's side. Why are you making such a fuss? Li Jun was escorting important company documents, has been tired all day, and was covered in sweat. What's wrong with me letting him take a hot shower in my room? Fu Shui looked at me with displeasure. Xiao Shui, he's lying. How could he have been tired all day? We encountered thugs on the way, and he immediately abandoned me and ran back here. Enough, Lin Hai. I'm very disappointed in you. Fu Shui looked at me with cold eyes. Jun just told me everything. You didn't come to work today, nor did you escort any documents. He was the one who delivered the documents to the company. You wanted to avoid punishment by getting him to fabricate an excuse about a robbery, but he refused and gave you a stern lesson. So now you hold a grudge against him and want to harm him, isn't that right? I was stunned. How could someone as clever as Schwer believe such a flimsy story from Li Jun? And when did her form of address for Li Jun become so intimate, even calling him Jun? It must be that this male vixen Li Jun seduced her while I was away. Xiao Shui, Li Jun is lying to you. He's a scoundrel. He has deceived you. Look at me. Are these wounds on my body fake? I pulled open my shirt, revealing my body covered in bruises and knife wounds to Fu Shui. When Fu Shui saw my injuries, she gasped in shock, and finally some tenderness appeared in her eyes. How did you get such serious injuries? These were all inflicted by the thugs. I stopped them and protected the company documents. But Li Jun just drove away and abandoned me, which is why I was so badly injured. Fu Shui looked at Li Jun and softly asked, Jun, is what he's saying true? Swear, don't you trust me anymore? You're making my heart ache. That's not it. But the injuries on Lin Hai's body are truly frightening. Li Jun sighed. Since you don't trust me, let's have a doctor take a look. Your personal physician, Director Zhong, happens to be coming over for your regular checkup. Let's have him examine this as well. After saying this, Li Jun made a phone call, and before long, Director Zhong came up with his medical bag. As soon as the examination was finished, Fu Shui eagerly came over to ask, Director Zhong, how is his condition? Seeing Fu Shui's anxious expression, I felt a warm current flow through my heart. Xiao Shui still cares about me. Manager Fu, Mr. Lin's injuries are indeed severe. From the surface, it does appear he has suffered significant physical trauma. However, Director Zhong hesitated. However what? Director Zhong, please don't hold back. Whatever you've discovered, just say it directly, Fu Shui asked anxiously. However, Mr. Lin's injuries are strange. They don't appear to have been inflicted by someone else, but rather seem self-inflicted. After Director Zhong finished speaking, the room instantly fell silent. Snowfall suddenly turned her head to look at me, her gaze like a knife trying to pierce through me. Junli stood behind Snowfall, revealing a meaningful smile at the corner of his mouth. I understood now. All of this was Junli pulling strings behind the scenes. Xiao Shui, this is Junli framing me. He conspired with the doctor. I explained anxiously. Hi Lin, haven't you made enough trouble? Director Zhong is a medical doctor from a renowned foreign university. How could he possibly lie? You're still making excuses even now. You truly disappoint me. I must have been blind to agree to marry you. Snowfall shouted at me angrily. My heart ached as if stabbed by a knife. She completely distrusts me now. In her eyes I am nothing but a habitual liar. Cough, cough, cough. Junli suddenly began coughing violently. Jun, what's wrong? Snowfall supported Junli, her face filled with concern. Swear, it's nothing. I just feel some pain in my chest, but it's not serious, Li Jun responded weakly. Dr. Zhong, please examine him quickly. Fu Shui was so worried she was about to burst into tears. Dr. Zhong examined him very carefully, then said with great seriousness, Manager Fu, Secretary Li's inflammation is caused by years of overwork. I believe he has been worrying too much about company matters. In the future, he should pay more attention to getting rest. After hearing this, Fu Shui's heart ached so much that 2 tears fell. She gently rubbed Li Jun's chest. Jun, I'm sorry. I wronged you. It's all my fault. Please don't work so hard anymore in the future. It breaks my heart. Snow, it's okay. This is what I should do. After all, I am your secretary, right? If I don't work hard, others will gossip about me. I don't mind being criticized for your sake. I just worry about others speaking ill of you. After Li Jun finished speaking, he deliberately glanced in my direction. Fu Shui followed his gaze toward me and immediately understood Li Jun's implied meaning. Lin Hai, are you satisfied now? Didn't you say he wasn't competent at his job? Now he's become ill from overworking. What else do you have to say? Fu Shui looked at me as if I were an enemy, then grabbed Li Jun's hand and was about to leave. I felt a sharp pain in my chest, difficulty breathing, and then with a wah sound, I coughed up a mouthful of fresh blood. Fu Shui heard the noise, stopped at the doorway, and glared at me. Humph, do you think I'll fall for your tricks again? Using ketchup to fool me, you really have no creativity. Hearing the commotion, Mrs. Zhang, who was cleaning the hallway nearby, rushed over. Seeing my pale face, she was startled. Mr. Lin isn't pretending. He's very weak and needs to be taken to the hospital right away. Li Jun looked at Mrs. Zhang with malicious intent, as if reproaching her for meddling. Swear, your housekeeper seems very concerned about Manager Lin. She's almost forgotten who the real owner of this house is. Upon hearing this, Fu Shui's face instantly darkened. Mrs. Zhang, since you care so much about him, you can spare more time to keep him company. From now on, you no longer need to come to the Fu household. You're fired. Mrs. Zhang wanted to say something more, but Fu Shui had already left, pulling Li Jun by the hand. My anxiety and anger overwhelmed me. My head grew dizzy, and I fainted. When I regained consciousness, I was lying in a hospital bed. It was Mrs. Zhang who had taken me to the hospital. During my recovery period, Fu Shui never once came to visit me at the hospital, nor did she call me or send me any messages. Instead, I could often see updates of her together with Li Jun on his social media. My heart sank to the bottom. One day, Fu's mother suddenly came to see me, carrying some gifts. A glimmer of hope sparked in my heart. Auntie, did Fu Shui ask you to come see me? Fu's mother didn't answer me, but quietly pulled up a stool and sat beside me. Lin Hai, I won't beat around the bush with you. Here's 1 million, take it. She tossed a check onto my hospital bed. Auntie, what are you doing? Our Fu family wants to dissolve the engagement with you. Before, When both you and Fu Shui were poor, I didn't say anything about you two being together. But now my daughter Shui is the boss of a listed company, while you're still just an employee. We're not of the same social status, and you're simply not good enough for our Fu Shui. I hope you won't disturb her anymore in the future." Upon hearing these words, I felt as if I had been struck by lightning, collapsing powerlessly onto the hospital bed. It took a full 5 minutes before I recovered, then spoke to Mrs. Fu with a hoarse voice. "Auntie, I truly care for Fu Shui, and she promised to marry me. Unless she comes to tell me herself, I won't give up." Mrs. Fu gave me a contemptuous look. "This is also Fu Shui's wish. She didn't come personally to leave you with a final shred of dignity. Don't be ungrateful. Someone like you simply isn't worthy of marrying into a wealthy family. Also, you've already been fired from the company. This 1 million includes your salary, so there's no need to come to the Fu Corporation for work anymore. No one would want a man like you who is less than a dog. Well, that's perfect. If the Fu family doesn't want this man, I'll take him." A bell-like voice rang out from the doorway. I looked toward the door in surprise. A young woman appeared at the entrance, wearing a short dress, with flowing long hair, tall figure, and exceptional elegance. She strode into the hospital room and approached me. "Hello, Mr. Lin. I am Song Qian, CEO of the Song Group. On behalf of Song Corporation, I would like to extend an offer to you, hoping you will accept the position of Deputy General Manager in our company. We will pay you salary and shares according to the highest industry standards. Additionally, this hospital belongs to our Song Group. We will arrange the highest level of medical care for you to help you recover quickly. As for your marriage issue..." Song Qian paused here, lowered her head slightly, and continued. "If you are willing, I would like to marry you. You don't need to marry into our Song family. I will marry you. After marriage, I am willing to entrust you with all our family assets and authority." This sudden turn of events caught me off guard. I stared at the Song family heiress in front of me in complete bewilderment. It is well known that there are 3 major families in this area. Among them, the Song family is the oldest aristocracy in the area and also the most powerful entity. Although the Fu family, as a newly emerged power, has been gaining momentum in recent years, they are still slightly inferior compared to the Song family. "What did you say? You're willing to marry this useless man, and even hire him as the vice president of your company?" Mrs. Fu looked at Song Qian with great surprise. Song Qian lowered her head and glanced at Mrs. Fu. "Madam, please clean your mouth before speaking. Mr. Lin is an exceptional talent. Your Fu family must have been blind to call him useless." Mrs. Fu suddenly stood up with an expression of sudden realization on her face. "I understand now. So Lin Hai is actually your spy planted in the Fu family. No wonder the Fu family's performance has consistently lagged behind your Song family these past few years. It was all because of his interference." Song Qian's eyes shifted slightly, then she smiled mischievously and said, "Yes, that's right. Mr. Lin is the mole I planted in your Fu family. These past few years when your Fu family has always been one step behind the Song family. It's all thanks to Mr. Lin's efforts. How dare you, you ungrateful wretch. Our Fu family raised you for so many years, only to discover you're this kind of person. It's fortunate I found out early and drove you out. Otherwise our Fu family would have been dragged down by you." Mother Fu stomped her feet in anger, gesticulating wildly like a shrew. "Lin, let me tell you, this marriage is definitely off. Don't even think about setting foot in the Fu household ever again." Mother Fu took out the engagement certificate between me and Fu Shui from her purse, tore it to pieces in front of me, then stomped on it viciously before departing with a flourish. Song Qian looked at the torn pieces on the ground, the corner of her mouth revealing an almost imperceptible smile. Only Song Qian and I remained in the hospital room. Song Qian changed her previous tough attitude toward Fu's mother and instantly became gentle. "Mr. Lin, I'm really sorry for standing up for you just now without your permission, but that old lady's ungrateful behavior was too infuriating, and I simply couldn't stand by and watch, so I stepped in. I hope you can forgive me. So those things you said earlier were just spoken in anger and don't count, right?" I teased her. Song Qian suddenly became serious, stepped forward to take my hand, and very earnestly replied, "Of course not. Everything I said just now was serious. I genuinely want to hire you, and I also sincerely hope that you could, and I." At this point, Song Qian's face suddenly turned red. "Miss Song, you should think carefully. I'm an employee dismissed by the Fu family, and even more, a loser whose engagement was broken off by them. If you hire me into your company, aren't you afraid I'll run your company into bankruptcy? Mr. Lin, how could you be a loser? In the past 10 years, the Fu family has grown from a small workshop to a public company, all thanks to your silent dedication behind the scenes. Without you, how could the Fu family be where they are today? Your talent is well recognized in our industry." Song Qian's words surprised me greatly. For the past 10 years, I had always revolved around Fu Shui, and this was the first time I heard an outsider's assessment of me. I started pursuing Fu Shui since university. I pursued her for 10 years, during which she said she wanted to prioritize her career and wasn't considering marriage so soon. So I worked like an ox in her company, pulling her business back from the brink of bankruptcy, helping her secure investments, find clients, plan products, manage the company, and finally assisting her company to go public, making her a female boss worth over 100 million. I thought she would agree to marry me, moved by my sincerity and willing to spend a lifetime together with me, but I never expected it was just my wishful thinking. Now that she has achieved success and fame, while I've been ruthlessly discarded by her, these 10 years of my life feel like nothing but a joke. It seems I chose the wrong person from the beginning. Fu Shui was never meant to be the partner who would walk through life with me. But fortunately, there's still a chance to remedy all this. Since I've already realized I chose the wrong path, what I need to do is correct it promptly, rather than wallowing in past sorrows for the rest of my life. Miss Song, I accept your proposal, I said to Song Qian, who had been waiting for my response. Really? You agree to everything? Song Qian's eyes sparkled with light. That's right. I'm willing to work at your company. Oh, so it's just about the job. Song Qian's tone suggested some disappointment, but she quickly adjusted her emotions. That's fine, Mr. Lin. I'll have the HR manager arrange your onboarding. Before that, you just need to recover well in the hospital. I'll arrange the best doctors for your treatment. These days I have been taken care of in the hospital like a baby, with meticulous attention to my every need. Song Qian makes time to visit me every day, always bringing nutritious soup she cooks herself. The nurses and other patients all say I've married a good wife. I struggle to explain to them that she's my boss, but they simply don't believe me and insist she's my wife. When Song Qian hears this, she doesn't bother to correct them, and instead starts visiting even more frequently. On this particular day, I was lying in my hospital bed, basking in the sunshine. Suddenly, the sound of hurried footsteps echoed from outside the door. Lin Hai, what's going on with you? How can you be away from work for so long? Don't you know the company is in chaos now? Fu Shui, dressed in elegant clothing, confronted me with fury, with Li Jun in suit and tie following behind her. Manager Fu certainly has a short memory. Just days ago, you fired me from the company and broke off our engagement. Have you come now to humiliate me once more in person? My words left Fu Shui stunned for a moment. What dismissal? When did I ever break off our engagement? I don't remember any of this. I ignored her and simply closed my eyes, enjoying the warm sunlight coming through the window. In the past, I would have taken this as a sign that Fu Shui wanted to reconcile with me and would have been overjoyed. But not anymore. I had given up on her and didn't want to waste any more time or energy on her. Seeing that I wasn't responding, Fu Shui thought briefly before taking out her phone and dialing a number. Mom, did you come to the hospital to see Lin Hai behind my back earlier? She deliberately put her phone on speaker, presumably wanting me to know that she was truly unaware of what had happened. My dear daughter, just me. Timing this makes me angry. Who does this Lin think he is, daring to have someone speak to me like that? But don't worry, Mom has already dealt with this burden for you. I not only fired him from the company, but also made him agree to break off the engagement. He won't be bothering you anymore in the future. What? Who told you to do this? Why didn't you consult me first? Didn't you agree? You were busy at the time, so I had Secretary Li relay the message to you, and he said you agreed. He's just a useless person. Why are you so angry? The phone hung up, and Fu Shui suddenly turned to look at Li Jun beside her. Li Jun smiled awkwardly. Shuier, I saw you had too much work, so I took the liberty of deciding this small matter for you. Didn't you look down on him before? By helping you get rid of someone worthless like him, I saved you from others' gossip. I was doing this for your own good. Slap. Fu Shui delivered a hard slap across Li Jun's face. Secretary Li, don't forget your position. You are a secretary, and he is a senior executive. In terms of rank, he is above you. Who gave you the authority to dismiss someone from management? As for the marriage arrangement between him and me, that's a private matter between the two of us. No matter how much I verbally look down on him, he is still my fiancé after all. What right do you have to interfere in our affairs? Li Jun was quite frightened by Fu Shui's intensity. He knelt down and cried. Shuier, I was wrong. I just saw how hard you were working and wanted to help share your burden, so I ended up doing the wrong thing with good intentions. Don't let it happen again. Fu Shui gently patted Li Jun's head, and Li Jun's face instantly brightened with happiness. Lin Hai, as you just saw, this was a misunderstanding. Now that the misunderstanding has been cleared up, you should go back to work at the company. As for our marriage, as long as you learn from your previous mistakes and don't play petty tricks again, I'll let bygones be bygones and maintain our previous engagement. When Fu Shui spoke to me, it was as if she was bestowing a favor upon me, giving me no room for discussion. Secretary Li, go pack Mr. Lin's belongings, then handle the discharge procedures, and afterward escort him to the company to handle affairs. Hearing this, I looked up and said to her rather impolitely, I'm sorry, Miss Fu. but I don't agree with your decision. Fu Shui looked at me with disbelief. What did you just say? For the past 10 years, I had never once defied her requests. I had completed every demand she made without fail, and even exceeded expectations. Perhaps it was precisely my years of complete compliance that made her see me as something cheap, making her think I could never leave her in this lifetime. I said I refused to work at your company, and I refused to resume our engagement. After saying these words, I felt much guider. Lin Hai, can you please stop being so stubborn? Haven't I already explained everything clearly to you? What more do you want? Fu Shui still believes that I cannot possibly leave her, that I'm just angry at her. I have already taken a position at another company, and will start as soon as I'm discharged from the hospital. I responded. Fu Shui burst out laughing. Ha ha, you think you can just start working somewhere else? Who would hire you after you leave my company? Are you going to deliver takeout? Or maybe drive for a rideshare service? Of course it's my company that wants him. Song Qian strode confidently into the hospital room and sat intimately on the edge of my bed. You? When did you two get together? Fu Shui looked at me furiously. Lin Hai, what is going on here? You better explain yourself clearly, or I won't let you off. Song Qian looked at the enraged Fu Shui without the slightest courtesy. Mr. Lin is now the vice general manager of the Song Group. Please don't harass my employee, Manager Fu. When did he become your employee? Right when your Fu family didn't want him, looked down on him, and threw him out. Song Qian's answer left Fu Shui momentarily speechless, so she turned to me instead. Lin Hai, let me ask you, are you really going to work at her company? Don't you know the Song family is my sworn enemy? I'm just a working person. I'll follow whichever boss treats me well. Miss Song reached out to help me when I was at my lowest point, so from now on I am her employee. After hearing my response, Fu Shui's expression turned very unpleasant, while Song Qian had a look of secret delight. Lin Hai, I know you're still angry with me. You just want me to personally apologize to you, right? Fine, I'm apologizing to you right now. Are you satisfied enough to come back to the company now? Fu Shui rarely put aside her lofty attitude to offer me an apology. You don't need to apologize to me. I should actually thank you for letting me realize that you're not the person I've been looking for, and you're not worth spending my entire life loving. In the past, it was always Fu Shui complaining to me, threatening me with breakups, saying all kinds of heartless words to me when she was angry. This time, it was me saying these heartless words to her, and Fu Shui's face turned ashen. Lin Hai, don't regret this later. If you're serious, don't ever contact me again in this lifetime. After saying this, Fu Shui angrily left the hospital room. 3 days later, I had basically recovered. But Song Qian insisted that I stay in the hospital for a few more days. She said she would only allow me to be discharged when I had fully recovered. These 3 days were the most comfortable and relaxed time I had ever experienced in my life, because my life was no longer disturbed by Fu Shui. I no longer had to constantly pay attention to her moods or constantly worry about her company's performance like before. Giving up on someone who doesn't deserve your love and not dwelling on the past made me feel like a completely new person. This morning, the nurse was changing my bandages as usual. Mr. Lin, there's a woman lurking behind the hospital room. I'm not sure if she's your friend. I was confused, so I got out of bed and walked to the door to check. Fu Shui was pacing in the hallway with her head down, holding an insulated food container in her hand. Fu Shui. She looked up and noticed me, immediately becoming awkward and uneasy, her tone of voice somewhat stuttering. I was on my way to work and happened to pass by here, so I came to check on you, and I brought this for you. Fu Shui nervously handed me the food container. This was the first time I had ever received a meal from her. I opened the container to look inside. The food was quite abundant and appealing in appearance, aroma, and presentation. I hired a 5-star chef to make this for you. I hope it suits your taste, Fu Shui said, her tone becoming gentle. It doesn't suit my taste. I handed the container back to her. Fu Shui's face showed embarrassment and disappointment. Then I'll find another chef to cook for you. That won't be necessary. There's already a chef dedicated to making my meals. Is it from that starred restaurant? I can spend money to hire several more for you. I'm afraid this chef manager cannot be hired. Song Qian walked over carrying an insulated lunchbox. When Fu Shui saw the lunchbox in Song Qian's hand, she could no longer maintain the facade of gentleness on her face. She angrily questioned me. Lin Hai, you refused the meal I sent you just to eat what she made for you? My food was prepared by a top chef. How could this cheap woman's cooking possibly compare to mine? For me, whether food suits my taste depends not on the food itself, but on the person who makes it. I took the lunchbox from Song Qian's hand and opened it. Though Miss Song's cooking may not match your hired chef's, she made it herself, and she made dishes that I like to eat. The lunchbox you sent contains only foods that you yourself like to eat. That's the difference. Fu Shui's face showed great reluctance. Then tell me what foods you like to eat, and I'll have someone make them for you. Wouldn't that work? I gave a bitter smile. Fu Shui, We've been together for 10 years, yet you don't even know what food I like to eat. While Song Qian, who I've only known for a few days, has accurately guessed what I enjoy eating. Upon hearing this, Fu Shui lowered her head in shame, while Song Qian's lips formed a sweet smile. Fu Shui, I know why you've come here, but it's impossible for us to go back. At the end of the day, you never truly cared about me these past 10 years. My heart for you is already dead. You should go back, and from now on, let's not interfere with each other's lives. Fu Shui suddenly raised her head, with tears floating in her eyes. You're lying. You pursued me for 10 years. How could you give up so easily? You simply can't forget me. Manager Fu, when you were flirting with your male secretary, did you ever care about Lin Hai's feelings? When you wrongfully accused Lin Hai and embarrassed him, did you ever care about his thoughts? Lin Hai has given you so much over these 10 years, while you only gave him a promise you couldn't keep. Today's outcome is entirely your own doing. What right do you have to ask Lin Hai to come back to you? Song Qian's words stirred something in my heart. It turns out there was someone in this world who had been quietly paying attention to me. Perhaps I wasn't so worthless after all. Miss Song, you ask what right I have? He is my fiancé. We've been together for 10 years, dating for 10 years. And you? You're just a mistress seducing someone else's husband. What right do you have to criticize me? Fu Shui's words instantly made Song Qian lower her head. I stepped forward to shield her. Fu Shui, I've already broken off our engagement. There is no relationship between us anymore. I don't think you've forgotten that, have you? I do not agree to break off the engagement. My mother doesn't represent me, and our engagement is still valid. Fu Shui looked at me with fierce eyes. Lin Hai, I know you're still angry with me. You're with Song Qian just to make me jealous, but you can't possibly leave me. Lin Hai, you are mine. You'll never escape from my grasp in this lifetime. After saying this, Fu Shui glanced at me and then left the hospital. Lin Hai, perhaps Fu Shui is right. Maybe you really are just acting out of spite, and deep down you still like her. And I am indeed, as she said, just a third party who interfered in someone else's relationship. Song Qian lowered her head, her expression gloomy. I stepped forward and stroked Song Qian's head. No one knows better than me whether I'm acting out of spite. I'm very clear-headed now. After leaving Fu Shui, I feel an unprecedented sense of relief. I don't love her anymore, and I never will again. As for you, how could you possibly be a third party? Song Qian raised her eyes to look at me, tears welling up. If I'm not a third party, then what am I? If you're willing, you could become my wife. We could go get our marriage certificate today. I'm willing. Song Qian happily jumped up and down, hooked her arms around my neck, as happy as a child. After returning from registering at the Civil Affairs Bureau, Song Qian kept staring at the marriage certificate in her hand with a silly smile. That smile of yours, the more I look at it, the more it seems like a villain who has finally succeeded in their long-planned scheme, I teased. Song Qian wasn't angry but rather pleased, tightly hugging my arm and saying, to get a husband like you, I wouldn't hesitate to be a big villain. Can I post on my social media? Song Qian looked at me with her bright, watery eyes. Of course, our marriage is open and above board. There's nothing to hide. I'll even repost your social media update. I smiled as I embraced Song Qian. That evening, Fu Shui hurriedly came to the hospital again. Lin Hai, what is the meaning of this? Who allowed you to marry that slut? Song Qian and I were watching a TV series together in the hospital room when we were both startled by her angry shout. Fu Shui, who I marry is my freedom, and you don't seem to have the right to interfere, I said with great dissatisfaction. Lin Hai, how long are you going to be unreasonable? I've treated you so well, what more do you want? You should try to understand me too. When you showed up dressed like a beggar in front of so many distinguished guests, I just said a few words to you. It's not like it hurt you. Can't you be a little more generous? As for Li Jun, he's just a pretty boy I keep around at the company, just for casual fun to pass the time. You're a business elite after all. How can you not understand this? Fu Shui said this to me without blushing or showing any sign of embarrassment, with a self-righteous expression. Haha, you're actually so openly admitting that you keep a pretty boy. You really won't rest until you shock people to death, I said with a cold smile. As the owner of a publicly listed company, do you think it was easy for me to build the Fu family business to its current scale? Can't you understand me a little? What's wrong with finding someone to comfort me when I'm under pressure? As a man, don't you even have this much tolerance? Going so far as to frame Li Jun just because of jealousy. When I criticized and educated you a bit then, what was wrong with that? Fu Shui wanted to continue, but Song Qian directly interrupted her. Miss Fu, I will not allow you to speak about my husband this way. I'm surprised that as the general manager of a company, you still haven't recognized Li Jun's true identity. Your ability alone could never support your current company. All these years, without Lin Hai, you absolutely couldn't have achieved today's success. Yet you still arrogantly believe it's all your own merit. How pathetic. Fu Shui, with her strong sense of pride, glared at Song Qian defiantly. Do I need a cheap woman like you to criticize my abilities? Song Qian smiled. I knew you wouldn't accept it. Let me introduce you to someone you might know. Song Qian clapped her hands twice toward the door, and a middle-aged man wearing a white coat walked in. Director Zhong? Fu Shui called out in surprise. Tell them what really happened, Song Qian commanded. Director Zhong stood obediently in the middle, lowering his head as he spoke. Mr. Lin, I've wronged you. I violated my professional ethics as a doctor. That night I lied. It was Li Jun who gave me 1 million to say those things, with the purpose of creating misunderstanding between Miss Fu and Mr. Lin. Impossible. I know Li Jun's character. I couldn't have misjudged him. You must have paid him to lie. Fu Shui shouted angrily at Song Qian. Song Qian sighed deeply. I never thought you could be so naive. Let me tell you the truth then. Li Jun was actually a mole deployed by the Lei family to infiltrate your company. The assailants you encountered that day were real, part of a plot designed by Li Jun and the Lei family to eliminate Lin Hai. If it hadn't been for Lin Hai mediating at your company all these years, your company would have gone bankrupt long ago. After Song Qian finished speaking, Fu Shui and I both looked at her with astonishment. I know you're shocked and perhaps unwilling to believe this reality. Just listen to this recording. Song Qian opened an audio file on her phone. It contained the Lei family and Li Jun conspiring on how to kill me and Song Qian, then swiftly merged the Fu family and Song family businesses. If this is true, how could you possibly have recorded something so confidential? You must be fabricating this to deceive me. Fu Shui found it difficult to accept this truth. Song Qian gave a light chuckle. So the Lei family is allowed to arrange moles, but I'm not allowed to plan informants? To be honest, I also placed a mole in your Fu family, but unfortunately, you fired them. I suddenly realized and immediately thought of someone. If I'm not mistaken, Mrs. Zhang is the mole you arranged, right? Hee, my husband is so clever. Song Qian smiled happily at me. Miss Fu, if you don't believe it, you can listen to the recordings Mrs. Zhang sent me. You should be able to tell if they're genuine or not. Song Qian sent some audio files to Fu Shui to review. After listening, Fu Shui no longer had her previous confidence. She lowered her head and muttered, How could this happen? I've been deceived by this pretty boy all along. I'm such a fool. You're not a fool. You just didn't trust Lin Hai enough. Lin Hai discovered issues with Li Jun early on, but you didn't trust him at all and didn't give Lin Hai enough authority to manage the company. If you had trusted him more, I believe your Fu family would have surpassed the Song family long ago. Unfortunately, from beginning to end, you only treated Lin Hai as a tool. Song Qian pointed out the problem incisively. Fu Shui had finally recognized her own problem, tears of regret flowing from the corners of her eyes. Lin Hai, I know I was wrong. Do you think we could possibly? There's no possibility. I responded decisively. Fu Shui looked at me sadly, then smiled bitterly. I understand. Take care. This was the last time I saw Fu Shui. A month later, Fu's mother suddenly came to the Song group to find me. Lin Hai, I'm begging you to come back quickly. Since you left the company, we've had major problems. With everything. When people heard you left, many clients wanted to withdraw their investments. All the previously agreed projects were terminated, and the core employees all went on strike and resigned after hearing about your departure. If this continues, the Fu family will be finished. I smiled. Auntie, I'm now an employee of another company. I can no longer help with the Fu family's affairs. I know I was wrong before. I shouldn't have treated you that way. Isn't it enough that I'm apologizing to you now? Even if you don't care about the company, you should consider my daughter. She's completely lost and has lost a lot of weight. Don't you have any feelings for my daughter at all? Fu's mother was almost kneeling down and begging me. I looked at Song Shi with her slightly protruding belly in the office across from me and said without hesitation, That's right. I don't have any feelings for her anymore. Half a year later, suddenly explosive news broke out. The general manager of Fu Corporation committed suicide at a hotel to escape punishment for crimes. News reports said that she had poisoned 2 men that evening. One of them named Li Jun, who was the secretary of Fu Corporation, and the other was the general manager of Lei Corporation. At noon that day, I received an email containing a transfer deed for Fu Corporation shares, with me as the transferee. There was also a handwritten note with 4 large characters, returning to rightful owner. The handwriting was Fu Shui's. A year later, I served as the general manager of the Song Group, successfully merging the Fu and Lei families. Afterwards, I gave myself a short vacation, taking my wife and son to play on the beach. I held Song Qian's and my son's hands, feeling the free and warm sea breeze. Xiao Qian, I've always had a question. When I first met you, I seemed to have a very familiar feeling. Song Qian looked at me tenderly. That's right. By then I had already known you for 12 years. 12 years. How do I have no memory of this? In our second year of high school, I transferred to your class. You were too dazzling then, an outstanding student at school, while I was at the bottom of the class, hardly daring to say a few words to you. Later, You were admitted to a prestigious university, while I, with my poor grades, returned to the Song family to learn about business, but I always kept track of you. After that, you frantically pursued Fu Shui, which broke my heart for quite a while. I felt I had no chance, so I put all my energy into running the company. But unexpectedly, a few years later, you appeared in my sight again. You stubbornly expanded Fu's small company step by step until it was about to go public. Later, I realized that Fu Shui was simply using you. I saw an opportunity and arranged for Mrs. Zhang to infiltrate the Fu family as an undercover, to gather information about you at all times. The day you were delivering documents, I had just received information that you would be in danger, so I quickly followed you by car. By the time I arrived, you were already surrounded by thugs. In that urgent situation, I set off the alarm, and surprisingly, it actually scared those thugs away. The day you were so angry that you coughed up blood, Mrs. Zhang contacted me immediately. I was the one who told her to take you to the hospital. Afterward, I kept hiding in the hospital to observe you, until Fu's mother came to humiliate you that day. I really couldn't stand it anymore, so I stepped forward. After hearing this, I was also stunned for a few seconds. I never thought that you were such a big bad guy, actually keeping me in the dark all this time.